Yeah, y'all doing out there in video land? This is Stiletto coming at you from the Wild Wild West. Well, what we're going to do right now, we're just going to have a discussion. I just want to discuss some of my old favorites from times gone by with the cold steels, and just want to discuss them. You know, some of them might think that they're discontinued and they need to bring them back. But anyway, let's just get into it. What do you want to start off with? Let's start off with on this end. This is the Tau War. Well, they brought this one back. This is the Oz 8 one. This one I've always carried. Absolutely love it. I do have one of the new versions too. But this is one of my all-time favorites, people. This is one I think every cold steel person should own. Everybody should own the Tau War. At least one. I own several. But the Tau War is an awesome knife, people. Awesome knife for fishing, hunting, self-defense, utility use. It's good for, what I use it for at work now. Also, this is one of my favorite knives to wear to carry when I'm riding my motorcycle. I like to carry one of these in my vest and this one in my front right pocket. I've been carrying this knife for years, people. Maybe 12, 14 years, somewhere around there. Ever since it's been made. That's how long I've been carrying it. It's the Oz 8 version. Next up. Oh, 4-inch blade, almost 4-inch blade. This is almost a 4-inch blade too. It's the Holdout. I think this one is the Holdout 2. I want to say 2. I'm going to say 1 is the XL with the 6-inch blade. The 2, I think, is this one with the 4-inch blade. And the 3 is the one with the 3-inch blade. I think I got that right, people. If not, correct me. But this is the model that they don't make anymore. They make the smallest one, they make the largest one. This is the one that they need to make. This is, to me, the most usable one for me, because I like to carry the biggest knife I can, and without any legal issues. And this falls into that category. This is a great knife for carrying when you want to carry something very concealed, because it's very flat. I carry these on the inside of my leather motorcycle vest. This one and the extra large one. I even like to carry the small one too. That one I put a ring on from Snaggletooth, a cog ring, and the Snaggletooth wave feature. This one I don't want the wave feature or anything on it, because this one carries hidden inside my leather vest pocket, my gun pocket, and so I just like it being really flat, super flat. This is an emergency knife in case I ever need another knife or something happens to my Tau War. This is my backup folder. Absolutely love it, people, though. It's designed after a Scottish skiing dude. The cold steel Holdout. G10 handle scales. I think it's almost a 4-inch blade. This one's the Oz 10 version. They made these all the way up until CTS-XHP, I believe. I think the CTS-XHP ones might have been the last ones. But the new ones that they brought back, they're making an S35VN. That's these. Both of mine have been polished. They're heavily carried knives. And this one right here is the one that I don't really talk about that much, but I think this is an awesome knife. Now, this isn't a knife for those who like to fidget. It could be a self-defense knife, like any edge tool can be a self-defense folder or a knife or whatever. But I would put this one more in the category of actually the title of it, I think, is a perfect title. This is the Ultimate Hunter. The Ultimate Hunter is an Ultimate Hunter. This is like a really good knife for a camp folder. For those who are going camping or hiking or doing anything outdoors, basically. I think this is an awesome knife. This is the original version with the CTS-XHP blade. I also have the newer one with the S35VN blade. They're both made the same, just different blade steels. It's got G10 handles. I think this is a G10 backspacer, which I'm not sure. Oh no, I take it back. That's aluminum backspacer. It feels cold to my touch. It's aluminum backspacer. Absolutely love these contoured G10 handle scales. And this is a true Demco design. It's got the true Demco blade and true, Demco design, basically. Excellent knife, people. And these are very affordable. These aren't super expensive. This one has a I think they have a 3.5-inch blade. CTS-XHP, it's a 3.5mm blade stock, I think. These are all supposed to be 3.5mm or 4mm. This was supposed to be 4mm, but it's really like a 3.8. This one right here is another one of my all-time favorites that I don't talk about enough, I think, and that I use all the time. And this is like the knife that I use for camp use. I think this is an awesome, it's the SR1, Survival Rescue 1 folder. And the ones I have are the Tonto blade versions. I sort of want to get one of the other ones with the clip blade too. So you might be seeing one of those from me next year. That might be part of my next year group of knives I get for my rotation drawer. But I've got like 3 or 4 of these with the Tonto blade. I don't have any of them with the clip blade. But this is one of my favorite all-time folders, people. This is one of the strongest knives that Cold Steel's ever made. Yes, the SR1. The SR1. It's got a 4.8mm thick blade. 4.8mm thick blade. Let me say it again. 4.8mm thick blade. This is a super thick knife, people. Super strong. Andrew Dimka always said that you can always measure the strength of a triad lock by the strength of the thickness of the blade stock and the lock bar and the stop pins. That's where a lot of the strength comes from. And this one is made the way I think that they ought to make all of the Recon ones and all the knives without any kind of steel or aluminum liners with G10 handle scales. I think they ought to make them all like this. The ones that are just using G10 and no other kind of liner material to give support to the lock bar or to the triad lock or the pivot. This one's made the perfect way, if you ask me. How is it made? This is Andrew Dimko design. It's the same way he did the first 8020s that he made. The first 8020S models and 8020Ss. Use a partial liner, partial stainless steel liner. It goes in cases the triad lock bar goes from the back spacer to the triad lock bar all the way through the pivot. So this is all steel all the way in here. And that's where your main part of your strength is needed for these kind of locks. You don't have to have steel all the way through the knife. Just have that steel in the areas that Andrew Dimko designed this knife in. This is one of Cold Steel's strongest knives. It's outdone the Deadbolt, and it was still growing strong at 598 pounds. Deadbolt failed. This one didn't. These are awesome knives, people. If you want a super strong, super heavy duty folder, I recommend these. I recommend these over the Scout models, the 4 Max Scout. I think this is just as strong as the 4 Max Scout, and it's lighter. These weigh like 7.2 ounces. The 4 Max Scout's like in like the 10-ounce range. So these are a lot easier to carry too. You can carry this as an EDC folder. It's not so heavy that you can't carry it as an EDC folder comfortably. It's a little bit on the heavy side, but you can still carry it. It's not too heavy. 4-inch blade. It's got a saber flat ground with a flat ground tip. This knife is meant to be tough. I have baton wood with this knife. I've done all sorts of heavy-duty tasks with this knife. And it functions perfectly. And it still looks like brand new. It's an awesome knife, people. I can't say any more. To me, this is my favorite tough knife from Cold Steel. The SR1 series. Next up. Oh yeah. Another one that I don't talk about enough that I really like is the Code 4 series. This is a S35VN one. I haven't purchased any of the brand new ones because I have a lot of old Code 4s. And they all got the same, I got ones with Oz8, CTS-XHP, and this one is an S35VN model. So this is one of my newest ones. Absolutely love them. Got an aluminum handle, aluminum backspacer. It's got the handle, to me it's like a smaller version of a Recon 1. It's got like a 3.5-inch blade, a little bit over 3.5 inches of blade. But the handle shape and everything is a lot like a Recon 1, only it's a lot slimmer. These are like, you know, what I would call like the first FM1s. Full metal knives. Now they got the Atlas Lock FM1. But this is really like the first FM1. Super slim, triad lock. It's a beautiful knife, people. Beautiful knife. 6061 aluminum handle scales. Heat-treated aluminum handle scales. Okay, since we're in a slim mode, let's go this way. What's this? This is a Code 4 CTS-XHP. Steve Austin. This is Steve Austin's Code 4. It's the broken back, or broken skull. Broken skull, named after his ranch. Broken Skull Ranch, I think it was. Where he had the reality show. I don't know if you guys remember that. He had a little reality show for a while. Absolutely love this one, though, people. This is one of my favorite knives. It's one of my favorite knives. One I want to carry a super slim knife. This is what I've carried before the FM1 came along. When I wanted a super slim knife, they had a good reach. It's a 4-inch blade, people. And it's made like the old style, folding hunters, from back in the days in the 60s and stuff like Charade used to make. Like I think it was called the 1250T or something like that. And Uncle Henry and an old timer. I got a collection of them, people. The Mustang, it's a Mustang pattern. That's what I'm looking for. It's a Mustang pattern. Absolutely love this pattern. Makes a great hunting knife. This makes a great utility knife. It makes a great outdoorsman's knife. It makes a great farmer's knife. It makes a great rancher's knife. It's an awesome knife, people. It's an awesome folding knife. Highly recommend it. They sort of messed up this version to me. The new version they came out with what does it have? I think it has the AUS 10, AUS 10A blade steel. Or was it the 411 Corrupt blade steel or the 4030? I can't remember. But they came out with a newer version. I purchased one, and I was totally unimpressed with it because the handles flex so much. These handles don't flex, people. This is G10. American G10, the good stuff, from back in the day when Cold Steel was in charge. Lindsey Thompson and Andrew Demko were in charge. This is a very sturdy knife, very rigid. The handle's very rigid. It's not a flimsy knife. If you can get one, I recommend trying to find the old one. Don't get the new one. The new one is not representative of how this knife is supposed to be. This knife is supposed to be a lot better than the new version, in my opinion. CTS-XHP, people, DLC coded, G10 handle scales. It's not FRN or Grivery, and it's not Japanese AUS 10A, which is a good steel, or 4116 Corrupt German stainless steel, which is okay, or 4030, which is not okay for a folding knife. I don't want 4030. I don't even want 4016 for a folding knife, people, because I want something that holds the edge better. 4116 was okay back in the AUS 8 days when, AUS 8, 4116, 440C, 428C. Those were like the stainless steels that you had to choose from for, your average, folding knife that wasn't super high end. But nowadays we have a whole lot better choices than those. And I just prefer to, the AUS 10 is good. AUS 10 is a good steel, but anything less than that, I don't really want that. I don't really want a 430. I don't want a 4116. Not for a folding knife. A folding knife to me needs to have an edge that can retain a fairly decent edge. It doesn't have to be super steel, but it needs to be able to retain a fairly decent edge because a folding knife is a knife that you use a lot. If you don't want to resharpen it all the time, I should just get a little bit better steel than 4116 or AUS 8 or any of the German Corrupt, basically. Next up, one of my favorite 3.5-inch folders that they discontinued. Bring it back. Bring back this one too bring back this one with the higher end materials. This is an excellent knife when you put the right materials in it, people. Same thing goes for this one. First ones of these I had were AUS 8. Absolutely love them, still have them. The last ones that they made were the CTS-XHP. What is this? Oh yeah, it's an Espada. It's a medium Espada. They stopped making the medium Espada with a 3.5-inch blade, triad lock, G10 handle skills, thick G10 handle skills. This is a thick blade stock knife too. This is a 4mm blade stock. Bowie, hollow ground Bowie blade. Or clip blade. I like to call it a Bowie. This is a knife that I got carried a lot. I used to carry this knife a lot, people. Especially when I used to go do my cowboy quick draw. This is one of my favorite knives to carry. I used to always carry this one. Absolutely love it. Bring it back. Bring it back. The medium Espada. The medium Espada. DLC. CTS-XHP. I know you're not going to do CTS-XHP, but... And you're probably not going to do the shiny DLC anymore, but, you know, it'd be nice to have a DLC. You know, I'll go for the flat one, even though I prefer the shiny. I'll go for the flat DLC and a S35VN or maybe a Magna Cut. Isn't it time to make the Espadas a Magna Cut? And the Towers a Magna Cut? Let's step up the steels on them. All right. Next up. One of my all-time favorite everyday carry folders of all time. Ever since these came out, I've been carrying them in all iterations, all generations, all modifications, all styles and shapes. The American Lawman. The American Lawman, people. I love this one. I have the newer one. I have the newer one with the flat ground blade. But I like this one. I prefer the hollow ground CTS-XHP, the old not the original, but one of the older ones with the slim handle scales. I like the slimmer handle scales on these because they conceal better. It's an everyday folder. It's another slim knife, you know. And I love the blade. Oh man, and I love the grip. This G10 handle grip and all the different gripping positions on this knife. It's just awesome. This knife feels like it was made for my hand. I love it. It's a great self-defense folder. It's a great utility folder. It's a great folder, period. This is one of the, to me, this had to go, if they're the all-time, you know, Hall of Fame for folders, this should be in it. This should be in it. This should be in it, people. Absolutely love the American Lawman. The American Lawman. 3.5-inch blade of joy. This is a perfect knife. American Lawman is a perfect folder, people. Another one that they discontinued, the companion to the American Lawman, was the Mini Lawman. Was the Mini Lawman, people. Absolutely love this one too. CTS-XHP. This one's been heavily carried also. It's my favorite micro knives. Why do I like this one so much? Because look at the grip. Look at the grip. And look at the blade. Look at the blade. Look at the blade. I love drop points, especially a bayonet drop point. This hollow ground, that's beautiful. And look at this grip. I can grip this knife back here. I can grip this knife up here. Got all sorts of grips. Reverse grip. I know it's a little tiny knife, but this would be an awesome self-defense folder too, people. If all what you have were able to use with a little tiny knife because of blade restrictions or whatever. They need to bring these back too. They need to bring those back too. I can't remember what size blade that is. Now, you know, let's find out. Let's find out. I can find out real quick for you. 2.5 inches. Just shy of 3.5 inches. Just shy of 3.5 inches. 4 inches. 3 3/4. 3 3/4. Just shy of 3.5. 3 3/4. 3.5. That's what we got going on here, people. But these are just some knives that I never really talked too much about, and that I really have nothing but the highest respect and highest regard for, and I would highly recommend any of these folders to anybody that wants a super great folder. Now, I know some of these they don't make anymore, but they do have newer versions of lots of these knives. They have new versions of this one, new versions of this one, new versions of this one, newer versions of this one, newer versions of this one, And they call it a newer version, but it's not like this one. They need to bring back 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 the hollow grind for these. And what else on the table here? Everything else they've already done. All right, people. So that's this one. Hope everybody's having a great day out there today. And put this one out there for you today. It's just my little discussion on cold steel knives. The cold steel knives that I have always liked and always had nothing but 100% respect for. I think are awesome knives for everyday carry, everyday use, self-defense, utility, outdoors use, what have you. It's good for all the above. All right, people. That's about it. Peace out, Stiletto.